Good morning, grade 3s. Today we are going to be building on the activity that we did in maths yesterday, which is activity 89 we're going to do today. So what they're asking us to do is they want us to pick apart. So now we have to take our 3D shapes. Imagine that you made them with two-dimensional shapes. Now we have to take them apart and say what shape forms each side of these three-dimensional shapes or objects. So we're going to have to draw them. So let's just start with the pyramid. It's different in your books, but I'm going to go according to how we discussed it on the board yesterday. So let's start with the pyramid. So as we discussed yesterday, the pyramid has a square base. That looks more like a rectangle, sorry. It has a square base, and then it's got sides all around it, 4 sides, which would be 4 triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is what's involved in the pyramid. Square base, 4 triangles. So that's for the pyramid. Then let's move to the cone. I'll just do it underneath here. The cone has a circular base, as you can see. It's a circle. And then a sort of triangular extended surface that fits all around it. So that would be the 2 sides that are involved with the pyramid, with the cone. Kind of like an ice cream cone, think of that. Right, except it has a base. Okay, so the next one that we're going to do is the cube, which is pretty simple. Remember I discussed with you yesterday and I said a cube has 6 sides and they are all the same, they are all a square. Each side is a square, all the same shape and size. So that would mean that with the cube we have excuse my really terrible squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Sorry, mine look more like rectangles, but you get the idea. 6 squares, all the same size on every side. So that's, if we had to take apart a cube, that's what it would look like. Okay, it would just be 6 flat squares, all the same size. Now let's take apart the cylinder. Okay, so the cylinder involves where we have a circle at the top. It looks more like a circle than an oval. So try and draw it as a circle, if you can. I know it's confusing when you see it looks like an oval over there, but it is a circle from the way that if we took it apart, we would view it as a circle. Then it's got a rectangle that would fit all the way around it. Okay? And then we have another circle. Okay. So that's what if we have to take the cylinder apart, that's what would be involved in it. A sphere is very hard to take apart because it would just be a surface, and when you're older you can literally see if you had to cut an orange how you would take it apart. It would look, that's actually a good idea. If you have an apple at home or an orange or a nachi, try to take the peel off without breaking it and see what you get. Maybe you can even post the pictures of that on the group and we can discuss it further. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so let's talk about the rectangular prism. So we have one rectangle at the top, right? Just like the cube, and a rectangle on the side. And one rectangle, let's try and keep them in proportion. So we have one small rectangle and one big rectangle. And another rectangle on the side. That looks more like a triangle, sorry. And then another rectangle on this side, slightly shortened, and then a rectangle at the bottom. So those would be our sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would have one at the top, one on the side, one on this side, one at the back, and then another one that fits, that's exactly the same size as that previous rectangle, the back, the front, the sides, and the top and the bottom. So those are the rectangles that would be involved in the rectangular prism. Now they give you an extra one that you have to do in activity 89. It's called a triangular prism. And three-dimensionally, it looks something like this. Right? it's like a Toblerone. I don't know if you've ever seen a Toblerone chocolate. That's a triangular prism. So you would have to take that apart. So that would be literally a triangle and a rectangle and another 3 rectangles, because it's got 3 sides. So we have 1 side, 2 sides, and a base. So 3 rectangular sides and another triangle over there. So that would be your triangular prism. I'm sorry that my shapes don't look very appealing, but I'm just drawing them quite quickly. So that's discussing all the shapes, and I think this is all the knowledge that you would need to complete the activities on 3-dimensional shapes over the next 2 days. Just look at your shapes very carefully. Remember that they are a 3-dimensional object. Imagine seeing them in your hands. And if you can, even go through your house at home and look for objects in your home that is a pyramid, a cone, a cube, a cylinder, a sphere, or a rectangular prism, and even a triangular prism like a Toblerone. I don't know if you have that, or you might have something around your house that's a rectangular prism. If you find something in your house that's not a Toblerone chocolate, that's a triangular prism, send it to the group. I'd be very interested to see what it is, and so that the rest of the class can get an idea of different shapes and how we experience them in our lives all around us. Okay, thank you so much, grade 3s.